Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining us tonight. So Armini Hakopian with Verdugo's Job Center is here with us today. And for those of you who are not familiar with them, they are an employment search agency and they assist in job searching, job training skills, help with building interviewing skills, and resume writing, which they will be covering tonight. I'd like to remind everyone to please keep yourself muted, and if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat and we'll answer any questions you have at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Armini.
Okay, hi everyone. It's nice to be presenting to Family Promise. And like Lisa said, we are the Verdugo Job Center. One thing that I did forget to ask Lisa, how many minutes do I have for the presentation?
Anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes is fine. Up to 15 minutes.
So I'm going to be looking at the, please, in case I go over, please just let me know. So
okay.
And we're the Verdugo Jobs Center, and our primary goal is to help people find jobs and employers to find staff. And this is done all by government funding. So this service is free to both employers and to job seekers. And we're located in Glendale, but we are tasked to service the Glendale, Burbank, La Crescenta area, and whoever that needs us, they're welcome to come from anywhere. As long as they're from California, they can come to us and we'll help them. We don't have a territorial boundaries, but we're definitely have to make sure that all anyone that needs us in Burbank, Glendale, La Crescenta area, we are servicing them. Before I move on, is there anyone that needs Spanish translation? If you do, please unmute yourself or let Lisa know, or maybe Lisa, do you want to say that in Spanish?
No sé si hay alguien que necesite que le traduzcamos. Si tiene alguna pregunta en respecto a lo que estamos platicando, por favor, puede preguntar ahorita.
Okay, all right.
All right.
So most people that come to us are looking for a job. And they do have to, there's a little bit of a qualification process. That means you have, so normally government is giving us that funding to help people that need some help. That could be veterans, that could be people with disability. That could be, did I lose you?
No, you're still here.
Okay, because I lost you guys, but I'm gonna continue talking because I just lost you guys, but okay, let me just try to go back. There we go. Again, veterans, people with disability, people that are receiving food stamp or welfare, people that are homeless, people that are, they're experience like background issues or they call justice touched. Or anyone or someone who's been without a job for a long time and they need to sharpen their skills to come back to the working world. So once you approach us, and then there's some questions we ask you to find out more about what you need, and then we assess and see where do you need some help. Is it maybe computer skills, maybe resume writing, maybe interview skills? Maybe you need a little bit of training, and we have funding for that. So don't ever let, if you feel like there is you could use some help in sharpening your skills, whether it's how to build an air conditioner or fix an air conditioner, or how to use Microsoft Office, Word, or whatever, and everything in between. Maybe you want to be Class A driver because that is a very sought after job right now. Everyone wants a truck driver now. We can help with some of the funding as long as you qualify and we do the application process. So there's a lot of great services that we can offer you to help you get back into the working world. Right now, our offices are closed, like a lot of places. So we can't see you face to face, but we can do everything over the phone. If you have a computer, that's great. If you don't, we can figure something out so that we can talk to you and get the application process going. We do require that you have the right to work in the United States. But even if someone does not have the right to work in the United States, have the right, we can still give some services, and that, at least help you how to how to write a resume, maybe some interview skills, maybe even give you some other services, but we just can't send you to an employer if you don't have the right to work in the United States. So that's the only, but we can give you other services, like I mentioned. Nowadays, with the technology world, before, like a long time ago, before, people would just write a nice resume, copy it, and go from door to door or company to company and hand over their resume, that one resume. But life, as you know, it's different now. Everything is online. And when it is online, there's a whole different world now in how to write a resume for today's job market. And I wanted to touch a little bit on that today. So, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, because that's what we're there for. So I will give you the information. And if you just think it's too much, that's okay, because you can just come to us and we can make sure that you understand it and that we help you. And we're going to be there helping you write that resume line by line. But let me start from the beginning. So when you are filing an application, it's asking you to upload your resume. Well, since that, if you found that information on the internet, so did probably another couple of thousand people. So this company, for that one job, maybe getting a couple of hundred of applications. Well, no one really has time, even their HR department, their human resources department, or even if it's a smaller company, even the hiring manager doesn't have enough time to go over 200 resumes or application. So there's got to be a filtration system. And what is that filtration system? It's a software that is called the Applicant Tracking System, or ATS. ATS is scanning your application and your resume and looking for keywords that the employer has told the software to look for. For example, if I'm looking for a receptionist or an administrative clerk, well, I'm telling the software, please only give me or pull the applications that have Microsoft Word, Excel, or maybe I want them to be Spanish speaking. So they've mentioned that they speak Spanish. I want them to have at least 2 years of experience. I want them to be from the health industry. And so maybe the HR person or the hiring manager has given maybe 30, 20, however many keywords for the software to scan for. And that's what the first thing. So no one is even looking at your application or your resume. It's first going through a machine, basically. A machine is looking for those keywords. So that's why today it is very, very important that whenever you're uploading a resume, that you're not using the same resume for everything that you are applying for. Because if you're doing that, there's a word that everybody uses, says, my application is going into a black hole. Meaning it's like no one's even receiving it. If that's what's happening, it's because there's not enough keywords in your resume and your application for the ATS system to pick you up and to present you to the HR person, or to be on that list that, oh, these are the people that had 20 of the keywords you were looking for. So what happens? So let's say, so how do you deal with that? How do you make sure that your application or resume is chosen? Well, every position that you're looking for has a description, and all the keywords that you need is in the description. And maybe even to go further than that, you can maybe look up the company, and you can go see what the company is about. What do they sell? What industry are they in? Maybe look up, it says about us, or about home where it's got telling them, it tells you a little bit about the company. Maybe you want to read that, and then start using those keywords and infusing them in your resume. It's not, some people say, well, that's lying. But no, it's not lying. It's just that you've probably done that task, or you have that skill. That's why you think you're qualified for that job. That's why you're applying for that job, right? But now you got to use the right terminology. So that's why you want to look for those keywords and make sure those keywords like Microsoft, like Spanish speaking, or like experience, 2 years or 3 years or whatever, that they are showing up, or reporting, recording, filing, those things that might be in there, make sure that shows up. So normally after I enroll a client, I make another appointment and we spend a whole hour just on resume. I ask them to give me a description that they would like to, of a job that they would like to apply for from maybe Indeed or somewhere else. We sit down together and I go through line by line of the qualifications that they're looking for. And I make sure that that shows up in the resume. And in that description, it also tells you what you're going to be doing on a daily basis. You're going to be greeting customers, you're going to be checking emails, you're going to be doing this or that, whatever. There's also that list that you want to show that you've done all of that. Maybe you hadn't thought about writing it the way they're asking, the way they're talking about it, but I'm sure you've done it. That's why you feel qualified for that job. So we're going to make sure that it shows up in your in the description of what you were doing in your past experiences. So that way, we're covering as many keywords as possible, and and that's what we call tailoring a resume or customizing a resume. So so it's gonna have to change for every single position that you apply. You gotta do at least 15 or 20 minutes worth of a little tweaking to make sure that it's customized for that particular position. In fact, let me just bring up an example. You know how when you went to Sears or Nordstrom's Rack or Macy's, everyone, your sales position, the sales associates were not all called sales associates. Some places are called guest associates. Some places are retail associates. Some places are sales associate. Every company wants to have their own lingo for, so even at least that. So let's just say if you're applying for the same job, but in different companies, you got to make sure that you've paid attention to what that company is calling that position. If you're applying for Macy's, but you're using the same resume that you were using for Nordstrom's Rack, well, their title of the position is not going to match. So you just lost the opportunity of that one important keyword. So make sure, at least even if you're not spending that much time in customizing, you're customizing the exact name of the position. Because on top of a resume, it should have your name, how to get in touch with you, and be strategic. Everyone, you don't need to put your address on there. Nobody needs to know exactly where you live, but maybe just the city of where you live, if it's close. But if it's far, I wouldn't even put the city there. Willing to drive a long way, that's your business. Don't even put the city, because a hiring manager might say, oh my God, they live an hour away. Why, they're always going to be stuck in the freeway. But if you're willing to get up early and go to that work, then it's your business, but just to be strategic and don't put the city name. But if you're going to work next door or in the same city, absolutely put the city. Don't put your exact address, and a phone number and an email for them to get in touch with you. After that, the next thing you should mention in a resume is the exact name of the position that you're applying for. So don't leave it the same for every company that you're applying. That just showed you didn't even care to look into the position with precision. You didn't care to research the company. It says a lot if you're not paying attention to those details. They don't know you. All the companies don't know you. All they have that represents you is that piece of paper, the resume. and you want to put your best in that resume and show that you cared, you want that job, and you paid attention. And you, especially if you mentioned if you're in one of your skills, you're telling you have a good attention to detail, then you don't want to miss that little detail. The other thing I want to mention about today's job market is, again, because they don't know you, if they like your resume and they want to call you for an interview, your resume is going to do 75% of the work for you. The rest, the 20% or so is I should say 75 to 80% of the job for you. That's how important resume is for today's market. The rest of it is the last 20% is the interview. They just want to make sure that they're going to ask you the question that you are, all the things that you said is true in the resume, and then few things they wanted to see if you fit in their culture of their company, and so on. But before they call you for an interview, they will look you up on the internet. They will look and see if you have a LinkedIn account. They will look if they can find you on Facebook. So make sure when you are looking for a job, your social presence is nice and clean. Don't have pictures of you with drinks. Don't have pictures that you are not your best. Try to keep those private. So then if they are looking that they can only see maybe your profiling, your profile is nice. And don't have extreme views, because you never know who the person that's going to hire you, whether they agree with your extreme political or religious views or not. So don't make, just try to keep that stuff for your close friends and family, but don't make it so public that an employer, when they are checking on you, they might turn them off about you when you're just about to call you for an interview. Having a LinkedIn presence is very good. Again, same thing, just make sure it's all nice and professional. I promise you, they do look you up on the internet. So before you go for interviews or even apply, just see how, or ask a friend or even yourself, look and see how are you presented on the social, what do people on the social media, what do people see when they look you up? I really don't want to bore you too much about these things, because like I said, we do spend a whole hour just on resume. But another thing that I will continue saying, I'll take the next couple of minutes to say, after the ATS system, the one I was telling you about, filters, and hopefully your resume, after you've customized your resume and the ATS system has selected your application and for review, now it's gone maybe from 200 to a 50 or 60 resumes or applications, but that's still too much. So there's other filtrations in there. And now this is when a human being actually is going to go through the resumes and try to filter them. And that's when customization is even more important, so that because your resume only has 10 seconds to say what it needs to say to the person looking at it. If they don't find the information that they're looking for, like the qualifications they were hoping to see, if they don't see it within the 10 seconds, they go to the next person. They go to the next person. So that's why customization of your resume and making sure that the HR person sees it within that 10, 15 seconds is very, very important. I'll stop here and see if there's any questions that you may have.
Yes, Jessica and Edwin have a question. They raised their hand.
No, I think we are good. We're just surprised because we didn't know about a lot of things on the resume that we we're not supposed to put the address and
the exact address, yes.
On social media. That's new for me.
Yes.
Thank you for the information.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. The thing is, now the tools are out there for these employers to do a little bit more research on you. The tools are out there and they're going to use it. So that's why you need to make sure that you're nice and squeaky clean on social media. So
Okay.
at least for as long as you are looking for a job. It does not mean you should not be on social media, because that's not good either. You should have a LinkedIn account. You should have a, it's up to you definitely LinkedIn, because it's a professional media website. But anything else, because if they don't see you at all, if they can't find anything about you, it makes it, okay, why is this person not anywhere on the social media? What's wrong? Are they trying to hide from something? So what I was saying does not mean that you take yourself completely off of the social media. No, just be there and be professional. Definitely. Any other questions that I could answer?
It's tricky because we never put anything on any social media. And for example, me, I just use Facebook for sometimes looking for a house or just to look videos. Same thing for Instagram. I never post anything. So it's gonna be
okay. Which is okay. So, but if you are looking for a job, having a LinkedIn present, it's good for you. It is
okay.
It's a way to network with people, and that's one of the first places that employers might go to research somebody. So I because they do go in there and look, that's why I recommend. I know I'm not a big social person either, and everything on my Facebook is what my husband, when he tags me, is there. But I make sure that my LinkedIn profile is up to date and I am active. Oh, that reminds me. A lot of people use Indeed or LinkedIn for a job. And when employers can also look into Indeed and LinkedIn and try to find someone that they want to call and say, hey, we saw your resume on LinkedIn or Indeed. But they've told us they will not pull somebody's resume or application on Indeed or LinkedIn if they have not been active for 90 days. So they just assume that you're not interested in finding a job. They want someone that's, ready to go to work and they're interested in getting a job. So I would, while you're looking for a job, which there's plenty right now, all the employers are desperate for people. But after September 4th, there's going to be a lot of job seekers out there. So, oh gosh, I lost the train of my thought. Lisa, help me. What was I? But anyway, yeah, I lost the train of my thought. Just if you have any questions, if you want to know more about your resume and how to be active on social media. Oh yes, I was telling you how they won't pull someone's application if it's been 90 days because they assume that you're not looking for a job or you're not serious about finding a job. That's what I was saying. So if you are using Indeed or just make sure you're active. Don't let it go a long time without you going in there, updating your resume or looking for a job or even on LinkedIn. Any other questions I can answer?
Don't see anything in the chat. Does anybody else have any questions? Si hablan español, ¿alguien tiene alguna pregunta que quieren preguntar en respecto a los servicios que dan Verdugo Job Center?
Una pregunta, ¿necesitan algún documento adicional de Social 18 para trabajar?
She's asking if they need like any other information as far as like Social Security card or anything like that.
So we normally ask for ID and Social Security or a birth certificate or an American passport, because those things show that you have the right to work in the United States. Again, if you do have those, then we do send you employment leads. But if you don't have the right to work, then we can at least help you with resumes and interview skills, but we cannot send you to send you leads for employers. For men, however, the only difference with men is because it's government funded, the men in the United States from ages of 18 and 26, they are required to register for selective services. That means they're required to sign up for in case their country ever needs them, in case there was a war, although going to the military is voluntary, but the registration for the men from 18 to 26 is required. So if men don't have selective services because they came here after they were 26 years old, or for any other reason, maybe they weren't in high school and nobody told them, there is a process we have to go through to address that issue. But once we address it, or if they have selective services, then we're fine. But women don't worry about that.
Ok, básicamente ella dijo de que si usted tiene su pasaporte o tiene su seguro social o partida de nacimiento, sí puede recibir servicios. Si no tiene esos, no los podrían referir a un empleador, pero sí los pueden ayudar a llenar o hacer su resume. Dice ella también en particular que para los hombres que son de 18 a 26 años reciben servicios selectivos que también los ayudan a registrarse como si quieren ellos participar en la militaria de su país, de donde vinieron, también les pueden ayudar a hacer eso. Pero si usted si es hombre y de 26 años en adelante no puede recibir esos servicios selectivos, pero todavía les podrían ayudar con resume writing y otras cosas también. I hope I got it right.
Gracias.
Any other questions?
So if you want to register with us so that we can help you with any of these services, you can definitely call us at 818-937-8000. And I'm sure Lisa has our information. She can also email it to you, or you can ask it. But again, that's 818-937-8000. A receptionist will take your name and number down, and then they'll send you a questionnaire. There's a couple of questions I want to ask you. We want to see if you were affected by COVID, and and what services we can offer you. And then after that, you get assigned a case manager, and that case manager will contact you, and then you go from there with the enrollment and so on, and the assessment to see how we can help you.
Okay.
And and my number is just the 8,000. The last one is 24. So if the receptionist has walked away and no one's answering, dial the same number with a 24 at the end, and I'll be happy to help you.
Okay, I'm just going to translate the last bit. Se pueden comunicar con Verdugo Job Center por medio del teléfono. El número de teléfono es área 818-937-8000. Otra vez el número es área 818-937-8000. Le pueden preguntar unas variedades de preguntas, así como si han sido afectados por COVID, y después le pueden dar una trabajadora que le pueda ayudar y le pueden hacer una cita para que pueda recibir servicios. Y ella dice también de que si no contestan el teléfono, puede marcar otra vez de nuevo al área 818-937-8024. Ella puede contestarle y puede contestar cualquier pregunta que ustedes tengan. Y si no tienen, si no se pueden comunicar con ellos, también se pueden comunicar conmigo para que yo los conecte con ellos. Anything else?
Well, there's a lot more to say, but we'll be happy to sit down with you one-on-one, and we'll tell you all about it if you decide to take advantage of our services.
Okay. So that concludes tonight's session. I thank you guys all for joining us. I know it's such a busy time at 6 o'clock, but thank you for taking the time and coming to, log in with us and have a little chit chat. All right, everybody.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Armene. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Pasen feliz noche.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Oh,
wait. Reminder for next week, you guys, we have Money Matters on Thursday at 6.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.